Hi, I'm Andy.
And I'm Tarik.
And we are Beyond Blocks, here to help you get the most from your Lego.
Every episode, Andy and I choose a topic and quiz each other while building models based on that topic.
So, grab your Lego, come build with us. So this episode, we're going to be building from our Park Animals Lego set. And we're going to be building some models that we found around the internet and one that I designed myself just for this episode.
So I'm going to be building a cat and a duck from the Build Inst website, www.buildinst.cz. The link is in the comments below.
And I'm going to be building a bald eagle that I designed myself. So I'll be putting up the build instructions for my bald eagle on the Beyond Blocks website at www.beyondblocks.co.uk, and our Patreon subscribers will be able to download them for free as part of your Patreon membership.
The topic again this week is animals. So if you're building an eagle, you're going to be quizzing me on that, and if I'm building a cat, that's going to be the topic of my questions for you. So who's going to go first this week?
What do you call a funny chicken? It's a terrible opening gag.
All right. Wait. Something like giggle, gaggle. A giggle gaggle.
A giggle gaggle? That's pretty good, actually. No, a comedy hen. That was terrible. That was awful. You can cut that one.
No, that's staying in. That is staying in, much to your shame.
Oh, God. Right, okay.
All right, man. Well, I'm going to give you some facts. I'm going to drop some knowledge on you. All right, so cats then. You know cats?
I know cats.
You know cats do that kind of like sexy walk. That kind of like, oh.
The catwalk.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. They have that gait because they have these free-floating bones in their body. One of the bones, or I guess two of the bones in their body are free-floating. They're not connected to any other bone. Which bones in the cat's body are free-floating?
What? They're not attached to anything?
No, they're just like embedded in like kind of two like sets of muscles or something. They're not attached to other bones.
I've got to say, that's totally mind-blowing. So if you find a cat skeleton from way back when, or a dead cat skeleton, there would be these random bones just not...
Yeah.
Wow.
There would be two.
But how can you articulate a bone that's not attached to anything?
The muscles, they're attached to muscles.
That's amazing.
I know, it's insane.
Well, the only thing I've ever heard of is a floating rib. I think, we have these ribs, these ones at the bottom here, they're not attached to the sternum, right? But they're still attached to our spine, right. And they're called floating ribs.
Yeah.
So I'm just assuming that cats have got, really take that one step further, and they actually float their ribs just off down there. Because I think, you've got to be able to, in order to do all this business, your ribs
so it's all about, slinking in tight spaces. You'll see cats and they'll get, through, a narrow kind of opening in a rail or a gate or something, they'll be like, I can get that. If I can get my head through, I can get the rest of my body through. And it's because they have these free floating bones.
It's gotta be ribs. Gotta be ribs. Because then that way their ribs aren't so big that they can squeeze through things. It's gotta be ribs. It's gotta be floating ribs. Two floating ribs, not attached to anything. That's my answer.
And it's incorrect.
Oh,
it's the clavicle or the shoulder bones. I think these ones up here are just like I say, embedded in muscle, either side, and so they're completely maneuverable.
No
in ways that they're kind of limited. Yeah, they can kind of I don't know, go head sideways through tight spaces and things.
So our ones are actually attached on both ends, right?
Right.
And theirs aren't attached at all. No. That's insane. That's great knowledge.
I know.
All right, you know that every week, because I'm really a bit of a bell end. Like every week, I always throw you one that's got nothing to do with the headline at all.
Right.
So
okay,
you know, like as soon as I looked up Eagles,
here's a question about earthquakes or something.
But this one is a bit more obvious because when you type in Eagles, you get the 1970s rock band, the Eagles.
Yeah.
Okay, so the US, so this is actually. It's not my fault this time. It's Google's fault.
Okay.
But a US rock band fronted by Glenn Frey released albums between 1972 and 2007. How many studio albums did the rock band The Eagles release?
Can I just ask, have I got a question about Eddie the Eagle Edwards coming up after this? Is this where you're going?
I missed out. I'm really sorry. You've been researching Eddie the Eagle Edwards. You've got loads of facts on Eddie the Eagle Edwards.
In anticipation of your curveballs.
Always.
How many albums did they release between 1972 and
1972 and 2007.
But then I feel like they're one of those bands that probably went on hiatus for about 10 years and then came back and was like, here's our big reunion album, and no one gave a.
Boom! You know that.
Oh,
they
wow.
are. Definitely.
So I'm going to
definitely.
say something like, oh, wow.
Yeah, they had a prolific period. Really prolific period back in the 70s.
Right.
And then nothing through the 80s. Basically, Hotel California was totally rinsed out across all the channels, and they just sat there making the money. Then they had their reunion album later.
So...
Yeah, no one cared about.
Album, you said reunion album. In my mind, it was a question of did they have any, 3 or 4 reunion albums? Sounds like they had one now, and then they decided to really call it quits. So I'm going to say something like 8.
So close.
Go on in.
7. 7. Unlucky. That was Eagles, Desperado, On the Border, One of These Nights, Hotel California, 1976, The Long Run, and then Long Road Out of Eden, which nobody really cared about.
This was the long road, the short road out of their career.
Boom, spot on.
Hold on, this is getting a bit finicky, I think is the word. Finicky. It's a good word. Underused word. Finicky.
I like it.
This is all getting a bit finicky. So, pay some attention to what I'm doing. Right. Okay. Let's have a joke. What's the cat say when it gets hurt?
Meow!
I love it.
Boom. Right. Okay then. The Philadelphia Eagles are a sports team in the US. What sport do they play?
Philadelphia Eagles?
Philadelphia Eagles.
American football?
Yes, it is.
Thank God for that. Oh, God. Just because that's like the only American sport that I know vaguely anything about, and I thought I'd heard it. So, yeah, good. Okay. In Hungarian grammatical terminology, what are Majska? I just saw your face. Like, what the?
Are you getting me back because of the Ptarmigan one, right?
Absolutely, mate. It scarred me. Ptarmigan scarred me. Scarred by a ptarmigan.
It happens a lot up in the Highlands.
Yeah. So in Hungarian grammatical terminology, what are Majskakaram?
What?
Majskakaram. I'll give you the translation. Cat's claws. In Hungarian grammatical terminology, what are Majskakaram, which translates as cat's claws?
Cat's claws in Hungarian? Oh, hang on. You just gave me the answer. Cat's claws. I looked up and I saw you giving me some of this.
Right.
Really?
Claws. Yeah, they call
That's
it
nice.
Claws. Yeah, little.
Good fact. Good knowledge.
It is, isn't it?
Alright, let's have a look. I've got this over here and...
Seriously, this is very, very finicky.
Yeah, my instructions are a little bit ropey as well, to be honest.
I honestly, I appreciate what this guy has done. like, kind of reappropriating all this kit. I guess this is the cat's, main torso. And if you just look at all the stuff that's going on, that's a busy bit of torso. That takes some
I really like that
to come up with. Do you know what I mean? That takes a lot of trial and error and all of that, and it's kind of like full. It's not hollow inside; it's full. He's packed it out with pieces to give it that solid, sturdy frame. But
I like the curves that he's put on there as well. He's got a curve at the bottom there, using that the white curved base.
Little cat's belly, give it a little scratch. Go,
brilliant. Okay, so when I was doing this eagle, obviously when you look at the US, and you see how often they use eagles in their symbolism, right? I thought, the US must have loads and loads of eagles. I assume it had loads of eagles. Now, there's 60 species of eagle in the world, right? And of those, most of the species actually live in Eurasia or Africa, right? So over this side of the pond. How many species of eagles do they have in America?
So I feel like it's just the bald eagle that's really the prominent breed. They have breed of eagle. Prominent species. In American culture, so I feel like I don't know. So I feel like all the other eagles are like, dude, I'm an eagle too. Can I get on a banknote? And they're like, no, it's only the bald eagles. You got hair, mate. You got hair.
That's another question for later.
Is it? Okay. So how many? But obviously, I'm not going to say like there's only. I don't know. Maybe there is only one. Maybe that's the trick. Maybe that's the curve in the curve ball that Andy's throwing me right now.
Always do.
Only one species. But I'm going to say 80 in total. Most live in Eurasia. So I'm going to say
60 in total. 60 in total.
60.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. So I'm going to say like 12.
And that's your final answer?
Or 1.
Close.
1.
It's 2.
Oh, really?
It's 2. Yeah, 2 in North America. I was amazed by that. 1, really? Because you always see them. And so, North Americans, they've got, you're right, the bald eagle, which I'm making today.
Right.
And the golden eagle.
The golden eagle. God, what does the golden eagle do to be golden? Obviously, it probably looks a bit golden. But that seems like a...
It's a good question. They are actually sort of golden.
Right.
They're kind of golden coloured, but apparently when they're younger, they're all sorts of different colours, and people always mistake the baby bald eagles with the baby golden eagles because they're not the right colour. Yeah, and their beaks change colour, their heads change colour.
Jesus. Wow.
Yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah,
they're like the chameleons of the eagle world.
Pretty much, yeah. So you wouldn't know if you had a bald eagle chick if it was a bald eagle chick until it's a bit older. Got to wait for these things.
Alright, I'm going facts. I was going to go joke, but don't know. Jokes are just too easy. Far too easy.
Yeah, your jokes this time are really... I've got them so far.
Right, exactly.
I'm on to you this time.
Yeah. Hold on, that obviously goes there. Nice. Okay. So... Okay, alright. So, it was originally believed that the Egyptians domesticated cats, right? Because of all like the imagery and all that found, from ancient Egyptian times. But they found a grave for what is assumed to be it's the first known domesticated cat, and they found this grave in 2004. They found this grave in Cyprus, right? But the question is, so obviously, the ancient Egyptians were kicking about 4,000 years ago, right? Mm-hmm. So they thought that the history of domesticated cats goes back 4,000 years to the ancient Egyptians. They found this grave in Cyprus for what's known to be the first domesticated cat. So, how old was that grave? When does that grave date back to? And I'll give you a plus or minus 500 on this.
All right, cool. And obviously, when they found him, his shoulder wasn't attached.
No,
and they were looking and going,
cat. And then there's 2 little toothpicks here. What's this?
What are these things?
Yeah.
That's not any shoulders. What's going on? I reckon 5,000 years ago. it wouldn't be news if it was basically about the same time as the Egyptians. So I reckon I'm going for 5,000 years ago. This cat.
5,000. Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I'll give you nothing. Because, my friend, it was 9,500 years ago.
Get out. But how did they know it was domesticated and that the Cypriots hadn't just made him into a stew?
Well, because they buried him. Surely, you would only bury a cat you cared about.
Yeah, I haven't actually buried my Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Right. Exactly, yeah.
Take his bargain bucket and stick it in the ground.
So yeah, that's I think that's pretty insane. 9,500 years ago. So I've got the main frame of the cat coming along here.
Those legs are pretty cool. I like the fact that they're ball and socket joints as well.
Yeah.
So
really good,
it could do all of this business as well. Have they got a shoulder joint on there?
No, there's obviously no clavicle.
I've got my head over there.
Jesus. Look at that.
He can turn left and right, and you can see I tried to put the feathering in here, so you can really. I tried to put as much curvature in his head as possible with the feathers and that sort of thing.
Nice.
Sweet.
Go on in. Whose turn?
Got to be mine, right? Okay, this is going to be the worst joke of the episode, I reckon. How do you catch a unique bird?
Go on in. You got me. Don't know.
Unique up on it.
Oh, mate.
That's just all. Okay, it gets worse. How do you catch a tame bird?
No, go on.
The tame way, unique up on it.
Oh, mate. Oh, Jesus. This has basically got nothing to do with birds. This could be like any animal or anything. Yeah. Oh, all right. Well done. Oh, 2 points to you for the crap joke.
I'll just take the one. I'll take the one. It was so bad. I couldn't possibly.
Brilliant. All right. Go on in. Let's have some more comedy. I like to think this is a better joke than yours, but we'll see.
We'll let the viewers decide on that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So what happened to the cat that swallowed a ball of wool?
Has it got something to do with knitting? Knit, knots, unravelling. Haven't got a clue.
She had mittens. Come on, better.
It was better. Oh, dear me.
All right, facts. More facts. I like the facts about American football teams and American rock bands. I'm good with those. So more of those facts, please.
Great. I better move away from those ones then.
Yeah.
All right. 8 countries have eagles in their flags. Can you name 2? I'll even give you, right, if you get the other one, you can get a bonus point, because there's actually sort of 9, but the 9th one is a territory.
Some kind of at least one of the former Yugoslavian republics.
You got. I think you're on the right track, because the eagle, right, is commonly associated with Germanic countries due to the association with the Holy Roman Empire. Because the Holy Roman Empire, they used to go around with eagles on their flags, right?
I want to say, is it Albania one?
Yes. Nice one.
And do you know what? I'm just going by football teams and things, because often the football teams kind of the crest will the national team will.
Is that how you got Albania?
Huh?
Is that how you got Albania?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I might be completely wrong, but I just have an image in my mind, just like a vague association.
Class.
But I'm struggling now.
All right. Anytime you want to throw in a towel.
Are there any are they all quite obscure? No offense, but are they all quite obscure countries? Are there any?
One of them's pretty big. One of them's got it in its. Yeah, one of them's no. What am I thinking? They're not. Yeah, they're not all obscure. Okay. To be fair, two of them are not obscure, and the rest are obscure. But you've got one of the obscure ones. Do you need any tips?
No, I don't think I deserve a tip. No, I do, because I gave you little cat's claws, didn't I?
Yeah, so yeah. I actually only saw that out of the corner of my eye.
All right.
What can I give you? Sort of somewhere near America. Nah, that's a terrible clue.
Mexico? You talking about Mexico?
Yeah, Mexico. Yeah, for real. I could give you another clue actually. That might make it harder. Actually, I'm not really sure. But a lot of these countries with I said it. They have a lot of in common with the Holy Roman Empire. The Holy Roman Empire had two-headed eagles.
Yeah, right. And
that's the thing. So it was looking at the east of the empire and the west of the empire, and a lot of their things have made. A lot of the countries that are influenced by that have two-headed eagles as well on their flags.
So that didn't help me at all.
No, I didn't think so. I didn't think it would.
So, what? Again, former Yugoslav countries, right? Because they were kind of non-aligned. Famously, Tito was non-aligned in his political allegiances.
In flags, lions are commonly representative of nations, but eagles are commonly symbolic of empires.
Okay. Dude, I'm just going to give in at this point, right?
Yeah, cool. Right.
But, because I'm, I don't deserve this point. But it's fascinating. I do think this is fascinating. So go on then, what's the full list?
I love the old flag questions. Yeah. Okay, we got Mexico.
Yeah.
Actually, come to think of it, you got Mexico, so that's Mexico. Cool. You got a point.
All right.
Okay, we got Mexico. We got Serbia. I thought you were gonna get that. To be honest, no, Serbia, Moldova, up in there. Right. Egypt. If you think about the Egypt one, you'll be kicking yourself.
That actually crossed my mind. Egypt actually crossed my mind. I'm not even lying. Lying. Oh.
I bet. Egypt's I think that's a two-header actually.
Right.
Kazakhstan and American Samoa. So yeah, they did get a little bit vague. Yeah. And Montenegro as well.
Montenegro.
So you were.
Because I went there. I went to Sveti Stefan 4 years ago, something like that, and I've got a little flag keyring. And my mate Sasha, my dear friend Sasha, who now lives in the States, is from Serbia, and he's going to kill me if he watches this. He's going to kill me. And do you know what? Because I used to visit when we lived in Belgrade. I visited him a few times, and so I love Belgrade. I think it's a fascinating city. I think it's a wonderful city. Really great people too. And I was getting confused because Belgrade has got its own crest, and I think I've got a key ring with the Belgrade crest somewhere. And I thought that was because the Serbian flag has it's the three colours, and then there's the little kind of crest in the corner there. And I thought I was getting confused with the Belgrade crest. I thought that was the image there in the corner of the Serbian flag, but it's obviously an eagle. So I was really close to saying Serbia as well. So I just want to draw your attention to something here. So there's this whole kind of construct here that is it's one of those where you kind of do it separately and then
that's called a submodel.
Yeah, right. And I'm like, what the hell's going on here, right? So this is it. Looks like that. So you can see how many pieces are involved in there, tiny pieces, and it's basically an ear.
That is brilliant.
All of that. Effort to make an ear. I don't know if you can see it better.
I like the cheek that's attached to that ear. Was that part of the thing you just showed me?
No, that was a separate thing. So that's three pieces. That's 3 or 4 pieces there to make the cheek, and then this kind of goes on top. All of that effort to make an ear.
What I like about this set, is not just the articulations. When you look, they've got loads of these things which Lego people call snots. Snots are studs not on the top. There's anything that changes the way that the direction of their build, and so that allows you to add a little extra width and depth to your models.
Yeah. Snots.
And that's what he's used there.
Brilliant.
Snots. Fact.
Okay, so why shouldn't you buy a cat a cake for its birthday?
Huh?
Why shouldn't you buy a cat a cake for its birthday?
I don't know. Why should you not buy a cat a cake for his birthday?
This is a fact. It's not a joke. It's kind of a funny fact, but it's a fact. Yeah, it's a fact.
Oh, wait, I know that dogs are allergic to chocolate. Like, it's poison, actual poison to them. Wow. So if you give a dog like chocolate, it'll die. So not exactly die, but they have dog chocolate.
Yeah.
And that doesn't have all the stuff that human chocolate has in it, which is sort of poisonous to humans. So I reckon that cats are allergic to gluten.
No. Maybe they are, but that's not the reason.
Because I've never seen a cat eating bread, so I figure that.
Yeah, that might be true. All right, but why would it be pointless? This is a better question. This is mine. Why would it be pointless to buy a cat a cake for its birthday?
Because they can't blow the candles out. Because they can't blow. I've never seen a cat go.
Yeah, maybe. They probably could. But they haven't got, I don't know, they've got tiny lungs, haven't they? So they'd be like, that'd be it.
I haven't got a clue. Not even the first idea.
Because they can't taste sweet. They can't taste sweet stuff. They just can't taste it. So it would be really crap. Imagine eating a cake, but not being able to taste sweet stuff. How crap would a cake be? How crap would a non-sweet... And you probably had cakes... because these days, everyone's like anti-sugar, anti-gluten, and so you've probably been to a few birthday parties. It's like, surprise, here's the cake, and then you eat it, and you're like, ugh, it's like sand. Do you know what I mean?
That's amazing.
That's what every cake would taste like to a cat.
What would it taste like if you couldn't taste sweet?
It would just taste, it would just taste like sponge, like a bit of kind of a wet sponge. Imagine eating.
So what? They get a texture, but they wouldn't get anything else.
Yeah. Totally so.
That's insane.
Sucks to be
That's insane. Wow.
So you see, nature, it's all about swings and balances, isn't it? It's like, well, we give you these floating clavicles so you can slip through one gap between the things, but you can't eat cakes.
Oh, harsh. Okay, on the same note then, why is it pointless to get a bird a curry for its birthday?
Because it can't taste. Oh yeah, I know these. So chickens and things, they can eat super hot, spicy peppers. Do you know what I mean? And they can just tuck them away, and it makes no difference to them.
You're absolutely right. It's you're absolutely right. Birds can't taste chili, which is how. So going back to our squirrel episode, right? We used to stick loads of chili powder into the bird feeder because the squirrels come along, right? And they're like, yeah, give me some of that.
Wow.
The squirrels, being mammals, they actually can taste chili. So it's just hilarious because they're just so stubborn. They come in, they get the seeds. It's the funniest thing. It's the funniest thing because they'll jump across, they'll do all the acrobatics.
It's like, oi, squirrel, you've still got 30% left of your buried nuts to go and dig up. Do you know what I mean? Leave our bird feeder alone. And
they just won't. They're so stubborn. That's it. They're coming after them no matter what.
What do cats, camels, and giraffes have in common? Cats, camels, and I'm almost done. I think I'm pretty much done with my cat here, my little personal cat. But what do cats, camels, and giraffes have in common?
Cats, camels, and giraffes, they've all got a neck.
Well done. 1 point. Well done.
Hang about. They all can live in the desert? Can they? They all came from the desert. They all lived in ancient Egypt.
all right. It's
Can you be a bit more specific? Yeah, too many
something
things.
to do with locomotion. And I don't mean like they all travel by train, you know.
That was my next answer, actually. Here, like this. Oh, great! I got it. I gotcha.
All right,
We're good.
By the way, so here's a clue. Here's a clue to the answer of my question.
Okay.
What do cats? What was it? What do cats, camels, and
Camels.
giraffes have in common? Here's a clue.
What?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Whoa.
And it's a pretty damn good clue as well.
Oh, is it something to do with their knees? Because camels bend their knees forwards, and giraffe. Yeah. I mean, like when they bend down to pick you up, right?
Yeah.
They can do.
No, is the answer.
Cats do this as well. Oh, it's got nothing to do with their knees.
No.
Okay.
Last chance.
Oh, what is this? Oh, hang on. Their left leg goes out at the same time. They move their right leg and left leg at the same time, and then their left leg. Whereas, I'm thinking, right? Dogs kind of do this.
Right.
While their other leg does that.
Yeah.
And then they do this.
Yeah.
When their other leg does that. Right.
We get.
I'm thinking that cats do this.
Right.
Followed by that.
Right. Brilliant.
Wait a minute. There's got to be a name for it. Do they really?
The best I could find was like a pacing gait, and I don't think that's satisfactory. That doesn't really describe the movement of the rear legs and the front legs. To me, it just sounds like a kind of a bit of a gallop, a pacing gait. But that's the only. I don't know. Maybe I didn't do enough research. So if anyone knows the actual term for this, moving the right side of the body first and then the left side, then please enlighten us. But yeah, that's it. They go like it's a pattern of like. It's basically like. It's good to have a model to teach this.
That is a great model. Like this is a great lesson.
Yeah. So it goes like right foot down first, right?
Wow.
Right foot down first, and then right rear foot down first, and then right front foot, and then the left will come forward. It'll be left rear, and then left front. So it's kind of like ba-dum, 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 and it's pretty crazy. Because it's like, how do they not just kind of like go whoa and tip over? You know?
That's a good point, actually. I'm going to be looking out for that now, and it's really cool to see that we can only spot pacing gaits like in the city by looking at cats, and the other place you'd see that is on safari, right?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Wicked. Good knowledge.
Yeah,
here's a question for you: where do bald eagles get their name?
I think I've heard this before. I don't know. No, I can't remember.
All right. Well, the fact of the matter is, they're not bald.
Yeah,
they actually have loads of hair on their head, and the baldness comes from an old English word. Sorry, I think it's called bald. Hang about. Balderdash. Bald something. It's bald spot or something. Right. It's this old English word. It means white. And so the bald thing actually refers to the fact they've got white heads, not that they have bald heads at all, because they don't. They've got feathers all over the place.
There must be a connection to baldness and, if it's an old English word, traditionally, it would have been like, slaphead white people.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I wonder if, baldness actually comes from the same...
Could be. So, yeah, totally. That's where the word bald comes from, in this case. Yeah.
So, last question for you then. What did Napoleon, Caesar, Genghis Khan, and Hitler all have in common? Napoleon, Caesar, Genghis Khan, and Hitler. What did they
They're all bald.
No.
All right, they all had flags with eagles in them.
Eagles? Why would I be asking you about eagles?
Oh, no way!
But I'll take that answer. No, incorrect.
Oh, no, because, yeah, Julius Caesar had... Oh, hang on. Because my... Oh, no. My second answer was they all thought the Eagles were really good luck. But actually, it's got nothing to do with Eagles at all. So it's neither of those answers.
No.
This is about cats. So they all must have had cats. They all had cats.
Incorrect. Quite the opposite. They all hated cats.
Oh.
They all hated cats. Yeah, man.
Nice.
Yeah. Which, I don't know.
Where's the evidence? Like, how do you know that Julius Caesar hated cats?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, hearsay, I guess. I don't know if they all subscribe to, like, the Cat Haters Foundation.
They were all members of the Cat Haters Anonymous.
Yeah.
And they found their subscriptions later on.
Imagine being like, Cat Haters Anonymous. You know what I mean? Like Napoleon's rocking up to Cat Haters Anonymous. Like, Napoleon! He was like, I'm trying to be anonymous.
Brilliant. Don't I know you, mate? Don't I know you?
Exactly, yeah.
Here's one for you, right? It must be my question, right?
Hey? Yeah, go for it.
All right, so eagles apparently they're not a class of birds. They're not all related to each other. Eagles just happen to be birds that eat prey that's over 50 centimeters long. So eagles are apex predators. They're right at the top of the food chain, right? So a lot of them are dying because they eat pesticides that have gone up through the food chain. So by the time it gets to them, it's high level pesticides. They also eat quite a lot of lead shots. Because people hunt stuff. Yeah. The lead shot stays in them, and then you open up an eagle, it's got loads of lead shot from all the mice it's been eating and stuff. Yeah, gross. But there is one thing, right? So back in I think it was like the 1900s, there was this bird author called Clay Sutton, and he noticed that all hunting birds do something before striking their prey, or shortly after, except for eagles. So what do all hunting birds do shortly before or shortly after?
Again, this is a curveball. This is not fair because this is a non-eagle fact. What do all other birds except eagles do? I mean,
I guess you could say it's a little bit of a curveball.
What do they do? They make a sound like
not a bad guess. Not a bad guess.
I'm on my way, coming to get you. I'll give you 5 seconds, 5 second warning. You got 5 seconds to run for your life. All right, clearly not.
It's sort of. I don't know. Maybe. Nah, it's not at all. Actually, come think of it.
Do they? Don't know. Go on in. Don't know. What?
They look over their shoulder. So apparently, right, because when you hunt and you kill something else. It's a double-edged sword, right? You've done all the hard work.
Yeah.
So someone else will come and take it off you, right? But eagles, being at the top of the food chain, they don't care if anyone's behind them.
Right. Well,
so they
no one's going to be behind them.
Nobody.
It's Sam Eagle again.
Exactly. So, yeah, all other birds, all other hunting birds, except for eagles, look over their shoulder.
Brilliant. Good fact.
Crazy.
Do you like that fact? All right, are you finished?
Yeah.
Cool. So let's have a look at what we've got. Go on then.
All right, so I've got my bald eagle over here. I'm really pleased with the way that the head came out. I mean, he looks really ugly. He's got lots of curvature, loads of feathers around the back. Little bit disappointed with how it holds together because it's not very good at balancing. So I'm not too sure how it's going to hold together. But I'm quite happy with the fact that his tail articulates into sort of flying position. And he's got a head that kind of, looks over his shoulder, which he really doesn't have to do because they don't ever look over their shoulders. Yeah. But yeah, I'm quite happy as it goes. I'm quite happy with the shape of him. When you put him in the flying position, he seems to do pretty well.
Right.
He's always looking down because So maybe there's a few modifications I could make, but pretty happy with the overall look of him. I think he looks pretty regal.
Absolutely. No, the head's majestic. Well done. Congratulations.
Yeah, what I really, the thing that got me, the reason I decided to make this was because, do you remember at the end of the Park Animals, I said I'm really disappointed with how many pieces are left over.
Yeah.
That's how many pieces are left over.
Right. Brilliant.
So, I just wanted to push this set and really put a lot of pieces into it. And actually, like, it has just enough white pieces to make a head. And then the rest of it, the colours, the browns, these tan pieces, they give it a really good texture to his body. So I'm actually pretty happy with the way it turned out.
Fantastic. The cat has grown on me a lot since I built it. Like building it was a little bit finicky. You really have to kind of like pay attention to what you're doing. A lot of small pieces going together to build. Like even like I said, like the ear itself, just an ear was like 9-10 pieces. Do you know what I mean? So, it was a bit not difficult to build, but it required a lot of like attention. But I'm super impressed with it. Obviously, the face is a little bit generic and stuff. We talked about that, but the way the feet move, the maneuverability of the legs and the feet is fantastic. Obviously, the head rotates completely like that. The tail, the same. The only thing that really kind of bugs me is the tail itself. I think he could have done a bit better with the tail. The tail's got a hole in it, for God's sake.
I see what you mean. But have you seen how they pose it up? Yeah, exactly. Like, you can still wiggle it. I like the fact it's got a hole to allow it to wiggle.
But I'm nitpicking because, I mean,
sure.
Like that is wonderful. Like the fact that he can just sit there like that. I mean, for cat lovers out there, this is a great set. So, like, really, if you've got the Park Animals set, like, hit the link in the comments below and you'll have a good build on your hands. A much more satisfying build than the squirrel from last week. So, should we have a look at the scores then, geese?
Alright, geese. I haven't got a clue what it is this time.
No, let's have a look.
Yes, I've got it again. Nailed you fair and square.
What can I say? I don't know. Your knowledge of feline anatomy and history shocks me. Congratulations. So what do cats eat on a hot day?
Hot dogs.
Ice cream.
When should you buy a bird?
On National Bird Day.
When it's going cheap.
It's good. It's good. It's really good. Right, so where does a cat go when it loses its tail?
Some sort of lost and found. I don't know.
To the retail store. The retail store. It's amazing.
I love the, like, it's just generic animal gags repurposed for cats. So, like, if you don't use it this week, we're using it next week in some form.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Alright, why do hummingbirds hum?
Hummingbirds hum? I don't know.
Because they don't know the words.
No, not having it. It's not a joke. It's just not a joke. Why do cats always get their way?
I haven't got a clue.
Because they are very persuasive.
Oh, God. Alright. What kind of maths do owls like?
Arithmetic. I don't know.
Oh, close. God, come on.
Algebra.
Yeah! Hope you enjoyed the show. If you liked what you see, make sure that you subscribe, like, and share this video with everyone you know.
And if you like what you see, be sure to check out our Patreon page where you can make a small donation to enable us to make these videos. Check out the link in the description below.
And we'll see you next episode on Beyond Blocks.